Yeah, it's the 16th of December. The sun is high, the waves are blue. While everybody's chilling in Bolito, someone's got something else to do. Down in Durban, they're soaking up the spray. It's a holiday, baby, reconciliation day. Nobody's at the office, nobody's on the clock, except for the agents heading down the block. They're swarming through the hallways, looking for a file, losing all the rhythm, losing all the style. In a wood-made office, the air turns cold. A story's being written that's already getting old. Demanding every paper, searching for a name. Intimidation is the spirit of the game. They said, where are the Americans? We need them in a row. But then they changed the script for the midday show. It was the raid on Woodmead under a summer sky. A holiday hustle, a convenient little lie. They said, Hakuna Matata, don't you be afraid. We only want the canyons, it was quite the masquerade. Oh, the raid on Woodmead, relations take a fall. Building up the tension, building up the wall. Now Ronald's got a scheme in home affairs, is talking fast, trying to make a holiday work ethic really last. The public's looking sideways, the logic doesn't flow. Working on a Friday, on a holiday, no. Was the KFC closed? Was there nothing left to eat? Is that why the uniforms are out on the street? Somebody doxed a diplomat, a secret's on the loose. Now Washington is tightening the diplomatic news. The ancient says it wasn't me. Washington says we shall see. A stumble, a tumble, a diplomatic crack. Once you cross that line, there's no turning back. No turning back. It was the raid on Woodmead under a summer sky. A holiday hustle, a convenient little lie. They said, Hakuna Matata, don't you be afraid. We only want the canyons, it was quite the masquerade. Oh, the raid on Woodmead, relations take a fall. Building up the tension, building up the wall. Summer sky, a holiday hustle, a convenient little lie. They said, Hakuna Matata, don't you be afraid. We only want the canyons, was quite the masquerade. Oh, the raid on with me, relations take a fall. Building up the tension, building up the wall. Check the calendar. Reconciliation doesn't feel like it in Woodmead. Keep your papers ready, mate. Hakuna Matata. Right? Don't coot in bed.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the program. It's Chris live in Central Pennsylvania. Can you believe it? I'm actually live. It is the 20th of December, just 5 days from Christmas. Need to update my truck back there, but let me check on the sound quality. Christmas, need to update my... All right, so a number of things to discuss here. First, my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to all those who view this channel and stick with this channel despite the lies and nonsense that you hear on social media. You're not fooled by that idiocy. Also, my apologies for not having any content today or broadcasting until this point. I know it's late afternoon here on the East Coast and it's 11 p.m. in South Africa, but my cable provider knocked out my internet, and unfortunately I happen to be one of the zones that was out for the longest. So there was a massive windstorm that hit and lasted less than an hour, but it knocked out power lines and data nodes in northeastern Pennsylvania. One of the key nodes for data transfer on the internet was out. And that was for many, many hours, at least 8 or 10 hours before they got it up. The temperatures were below freezing here, well below freezing, and that caused problems for the equipment and for the people working on it. But that doesn't explain why I was out for so long. Things were so bad I had internet up and down, and I tried to stream a couple times. It was a disaster. I wound up streaming on my mobile last night so that we had some content. And today, it still tells me there's an outage in my area. So if the channel goes quiet all of a sudden, you'll understand why, and I apologize for that. I'll continue on my mobile if that happens. But thank you for being here. Also, I really feel very bad, kind of guilty, although I have no reason to feel guilty, but I don't like to let people down. The Rugby Ascent did not do my broadcast today. I hope that people don't punish the channel and not come back next week, because it's certainly not any fault of my own or any intention of my own. I went to great efforts to try to do that. The problem is that the only communications network I had was my mobile provider, which was up the whole time. And that's how I streamed last night. And that is how I actually was able to watch the game. But they had a similar problem with the internet. My data provider, my streaming company, Flow Rugby, could not get the broadcast from South Africa. So I missed the first half of the Stormers game. But I did catch the second half, and the Stormers were losing 17-10. They came out of the gates like gangbusters and brought the bomb squad in and just wiped out the Lions. But the Lions didn't give up, and they came back and nearly tied that game up in the end. Then I watched the embarrassment that is the Bulls play in Sharks at Kings Park, and it was just a shockingly bad performance. Congratulations to Sharks and to Fonz. No, it wasn't load shedding. It was data shedding. Data shedding extraordinaire. We've had some real challenges here. But the Stormers, despite the fact that they won, they were not impressive. They once again have many problems. Yes, Road Captain Kev, I missed you. They have many problems. This is a team that has got to get its house in order, or it will find itself knocked out in the first or second round of the playoffs when we get to that. As a devout Stormers fan, I'm just being honest and forthright in this. I'm not going to paper over the challenges they're having. They're making too many mistakes. They're letting teams stay too close. They should be dominating everyone, including Leinster. They should be absolutely dominating in this league. But much better position to be in as the year comes to an end. 7 wins, no losses, at the top of the log, looking down on all the other teams. The closest team to them is Munster, which is a very good team, and they've lost 1 game. But the Stormers are at the top of that pile, which is great to see. Let's go ahead and do the change the date on the truck, and then we'll do the Advents chocolates. Hang on. All right, something's not right. There should be a 5 on here or a 0. There's a 0. Okay, so I got the 0. Now I need the 5. It's on the other one. Okay, there we go. All right, so down to 5 days before Christmas. I don't get too excited about Christmas lately because it just means another click on the calendar of my age. It means I'll be forced to be 59 again this year. How is the sound? Can I get some feedback on the sound? Because I went to great lengths to fix this because people were talking about it. What happened with the sound is that the software, this microphone is controlled by a control device here, which turns it up and down, swiveling that. It's also controlled by my broadcast studio, which allows me to raise or lower the levels. And then additionally, it's controlled by Windows, which sets the levels. And finally, this thing has its own software. And the software installed an update and then adjusted my microphone, dynamic adjustment. Maybe something I was playing was low, and so it adjusted down the same level and then left it there. And so it was only producing 21% of its capacity, and that's what the problem was before. So thank you for that. All right, today is the 20th, and we got 20 down here in the corner. That was easy to find. Well, we missed 19 because we're busy, so let's hear that. Oh, I get extra chocolate today. Cool. What do we got here? This is a little Sinterklaas, the Dutch Sinterklaas. And then that's the 19th. Here's the 20th. And here we go. Did I not get the 16th? I don't see the 16th. And there's the sun. Is that the sun? No, I guess it's an elf. The 16th has never been pulled. Look at that, man. I'm way behind. I'm getting all kinds of chocolate today. That's a candle, a katza. Okay, and now we should be caught up. I had no idea we missed the 16th. Look at that. Wow, just 5 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. That's that one. Wow. So let's look for 16 on here because apparently we skipped 16. I didn't even know that. Got so busy we missed 16. There's 16. Okay. Kinder Chocolade. There's 19. That's like a cornucopia of good deals here. 19. And then today is the 20th. There's 20. Okay. And a heart. That's a cat. So look at that. 3 out of that one. Cool beans. Big day for the chocolate here. And then on this side, we've got 19. That is a Christmas tree, Tannenbaum. for 16 on here. There's 16 in the corner. I'm so busy with all the stuff going on. That's the elf again. And then today's 20th. 21, 22, 20 down here. All right, so much for Advent's got kind of messed up this year. Star. All right, so that's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those chocolates. 9 chocolates. What a deal. Hendo wants to know, where's our chocolate? It's in the mail, Hendo. I sent it via the South African Post to the UK. You'll be seeing that in about the year 2037. Okay, so there you go. Yes, I wouldn't expect you to be able to hear me when I turn my back. The microphone is here, not back there. So I'm not wearing a microphone on my chest like I was doing on the mobile. Okay. All right, so let me say hello to everybody. I'm going to cover some news tonight, and then we'll chat. And I'm glad that you're all here. 158 people. It's late at night in South Africa, and I don't know how many folks in the States are watching right now. Janine Seen says, just about to go to bed because nothing else is happening on YouTube. It's interesting. Waited patiently for oh, well, thank you, Janine. That's very kind of you. I have to say, folks, that I am cooking. I have to take this hoodie off, okay? I hope you don't mind. Let me just take the hoodie off real quick because I am like literally, I got out of the shower, and I thought it was cold in the house, but it's not. It's 21. I got to turn the heat down, so I'm cooking. Give me a second here. That's better. Man, oh man. I was like cooking in that thing. Woo! Don't like to sweat. And I was getting to the point where I was going to sweat. I was overheating. Dusty Bloom, welcome to you. Umanel, James Warren, Martin Fundamava, Fonz. Hey, Fonz, congratulations. Your Sharks won a game. Wow, that's amazing. And they did it at home. And apparently, they claim it was a sold-out crowd. I couldn't really see on the tiny mobile. I mean, you can just see little dots of people up there in the stands. It looked pretty full. If it was sold out, that's amazing. That would be fantastic. But I guess that must have been a Christmas treat for a lot of folks going to a Sharks game. And even bigger treat, they actually won for a change. Fabian, what's up? Richard Brudick, hello. Wills, Yolande de Villiers, Road Captain Kev, Luna Eve, Michael Roux, D-Skim, welcome to you. Chesigi, Dire Straits, Boston Edition, Philip Holtz, Top Secrets, oh my goodness. Bonsoir mes amis, bonsoir monsieur Top Secrets, c'est longtemps depuis vous êtes là avec nous. Je suis très heureux que vous êtes encore là avec nous. J'ai seulement une question. J'ai une question pour vous. Où est-ce qu'on trouve les super chats de Top Secrets? Je vois aucune super chat de toi. On changeait fond vous jusqu'à tout. Il n'y a aucune super chat de Top Secrets. Aucune. Ça c'est zéro. Nil. Nix nine yet Namanhof. Where's your top secret? Top secrets, where's your super chat? Top Secrets is probably the person that's in the chat. I bet you Dollars Donuts I've known longer than any of you. He and I were fellow students when he was a young man. He's not so young anymore. Nor am I. And we studied French together. Long time ago. All right. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Top Secrets. It's always a pleasure. It's so good to see you again. I'm feeling lonely without you there, man. Hope he's still here. That was before he started. Yep, Hendo, the internet's working. And the microphone's working. Katya Fundeban, welcome to you. Charlie. Andre Mostard. Duncan Brayton is sick with the flu. Duncan, you don't have to do anything. Just sit back and listen, man. Let it play in the background. Relax. Will bring you peace and solitude as you recover. Yeah, the internet's fixed, but it's not 100%. Don't stop. Kind of sucks. What's going on, Sean? What's going on there? And what was that? Do I have my alert box off? I do. Sorry for that. Somebody just, Top Secrets just gave his, Top Secrets. He used his longevity super chat. I see that his French hasn't gone by the wayside. He still understands French. Yes, the fake media's ramping up. I did do a video late last night, and I was able to upload it. I had upload, but no download. So I was able to upload that video about how they're already smearing Ambassador Bozell. Sven Salbard, Paul Mashili cannot stay silent on land theft. On land theft? Yeah, well, they want to be land thieves. Mashili urges action on land reform. He is a dangerous person. Dangerous person. Do you have an open PCI slot in your motherboard? Perhaps consider getting a Wi-Fi card, for instance, like this, tethered to your phone. That's actually a very useful idea there, Sven's Thalbart. I don't think I have a PCI slot. I have to look and see. That's a good idea. I got a lot of crap in this computer. So, yeah, a Wi-Fi card. That's an idea. And then just, well, actually, I mean, my LAN card can use Wi-Fi. I hadn't thought about that. You know, I had not thought about that, guys. I could already do that. I could switch from the LAN to the Wi-Fi and use, I don't need another card. I could use my phone as a hotspot. Well, look at that. There's Sven. Dude, I hadn't even thought about that. Gosh, that shows you how wrapped up I got in the disaster I was having. Wow. I mean, I thought of that in Europe. I use that. I mean, when I'm traveling in Europe and South Africa, I use my mobile phone as a hotspot. Now, this is a new one I picked up in England because I dropped the other phone, which is still shattered. I haven't fixed it yet. I have all the parts. I've had all the parts to replace this screen for 2 months now. Look at how cracked that thing is. Yeah, that thing's shattered big time. So this is my A22. I have the screen replacement, and I just have not had time to replace it. It's just crazy. So I will have that repaired eventually. I'll get around to it. Yeah. So yeah. In the UK, oftentimes Wi-Fi sucks at locations, particularly Costa shops. They're not particularly good, not good enough for broadcasting. So I'll go on the mobile network and use my mobile data. Yep. But that's a good idea, Sven. Thank you for that idea. I should have thought of that myself. Gosh, I mean, you get wrapped up in things and you overlook things sometimes. Problem is, I don't like to disappoint people, you know. And when I'm in charge of something, I'm focused more on getting the mission done. But when it's my personal stuff and I'm trying to sort it, sometimes I get wrapped up in not letting people down. Safa Loading, welcome to you. Eudora. Who else we got there? And then Dini, welcome to you. And then I see Tommy Robbins is now UAE speaking on this. Really? Yeah, that's not a good idea to be speaking about that in UAE. Top Secrets is a dodgy French boot. Nah, he's a very much a dodgy white guy from Pennsylvania. Little did I know that I would be living in Pennsylvania with him 25 years ago. Oh my goodness. Boki Pafoka, the third bean. That's interesting. Thing of Nouns is back, and Fabian gave voice votre super chat. Oh, thank you for the 40 red super chat. The clouds are gathering. Sean Nadir, member for 10 months. Love the Colonel. Thank you so much, man. Love you too. Hello, Colonel. And I don't just say that. You know, people say that all the time. Oh, we love you. We love you. Oh, like a Hollywood celebrity. No, I really do love most of my audience. There's a few of you I don't care for. You know who you are. Yeah, wankers. You can get a USB Wi-Fi stick too. Yeah, no, well, those aren't that common here, but you can get them. Yep. Well done, Stormers, beating us. I'm glad SFM was not playing. Okay. Yeah, well, we beat him without Sasha. Yep. Since nil doesn't mean zero, why doesn't YouTube give me ability to give a nil super chat? South Africans are masters of hotspot for the kids' phones. Indeed. Cold day in Cleveland. Renee Bielefeld. It snowed yesterday. It's beautiful and worth the cold outside. It's nice. Managed to block my credit card yesterday shopping online. Your credit card? Yeah, I know. Well, that happened to Mad Max. Mad Max is, always does a 35 Rand super chat to give us news updates during the program, which I really appreciate. I like the 35 Rand, but also like that he's able to scan multiple things while I'm busy presenting a program. But the thing is that his bank froze his credit card because he gave too many 35 Rand super chats. Bonjour, je voulais vous dire que j'ai découvert un podcast français appelé Frontières que vous pourrez apprécier. Frontières, yes, I'm familiar with it. I've seen it a couple times. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'm glad you discovered it. K9 type, what's that? Everyone except Laverne Fundemev. Patrick Statler says, new member because you do a good job. Oh, okay, well, thank you for becoming a member, Patrick. I'm sorry I missed it. Must have been off air. Miss V, good to see you in better spirits, Chris. Well, I am, and I'm rested because, all I could really get done was some tax paperwork, a little bit of reading about the Inca Empire, and about Pizarro and his evil overthrow of the Inca Empire, and a bit of a nap there. So Uman now just gave 100 Rand. Thank you, Uman. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you all so much. So, guys, it's just 5 days till Christmas. Oh, K9 type of video I don't care for. That guy, Dogzilla. Dogzilla's gone quiet ever after I told him to piss off last time. He finally got the message. He comes in. He's welcome to be here. But misbehaving gets you sanctioned. Excuse me. So today was breakfast with Santa. So last night, just to get you update, I managed to do a live stream on my mobile. Is this thing charged yet? Hang on. It's still charging. So my mobile last night, we did a live stream on mobile. I propped it up here, put it on the tripod. my little tripod to travel with here, this Italian one. This is awesome. You know, these are great. This is made from heavy-duty industrial aluminum, but then they replaced it with frickin' plastic, so the new ones fall over. This is the one that sat on top of the car in Durban during the comrades. When I pulled away from the parking spot on the curb there, and the cops were trying to get my attention, I was like, I don't see them. I'm not paying attention to them because I didn't know if they wanted to ask me something. They didn't make a big deal. They just kind of waved to me like, hey, they pointed. And I just like ignored them. Drove down the street past the comrades, past Wyatt Street. That's right. There's a Wyatt Street there in Durban. Went past Wyatt Street, and then there's McDonald's where Eric and I saw someone fall to their death. They collapsed and died right there, less than a kilometer from the finish line at the comrades a couple years ago. In 2023, and then this was on top of the car on the driver's side. We ran around the curve. We're going very slowly. Went around the curve, and I'm like, "Where's my tripod?" And Eric is like, "I'm not sure." I said, "I wonder if I left it on top of the car." Pulled over on the side of the road, got out, and there it was. But if it had been plastic, it would have fallen off and broken long before that. But this thing just sat right on top of the car, man. That was incredible. That was so I still have it. The only problem is the little rubber grommets here. They came off because they used like a plastic cement, rubber cement, but it doesn't damage my phone because I have a plastic screen cover. So anyway, but yeah, this thing has been with me for a long time. And I bought a backup, and the backup was the same thing and cost the same amount, but all of this Manfrotto industrial strength aluminum that you put in airplane wings is now replaced with crappy plastic, made in China. This was made actually in Italy, not China. So yeah. Anyway, good to see you rested and less grumpy. Yes, Michael Rossi, I'm less grumpy. Let's get some trolls in here to get me grumpy. And Top Secrets gave a $10 super chat. Hercules. Oh yeah, that deserves a song. Yeah. Oh, come on, man. All right, come on. Let's play it. Here we go, folks. Here we go.
The Wyatt Army marches on. For decades in the uniform, he held the line so tight, defending freedom everywhere from morning into night. From Europe down to Africa, the Middle East and home, the colonel hung his boots up, thought he'd rest his weary bones. He looked upon the world today, the chaos and the noise, and saw the messy circus of the digital decoys. He couldn't sit in silence, no, he couldn't look away. He waited in the battle, ready for a brand new day. They tried to shut the signal down, the shadow and the band, but you cannot stop the spirit of a mission-driven man. Folks took notice of the voice, the clarity, the spark, and gathered round the fire. He lit inside the dark, and the Wyatt Army marches on. The signal is steady, the confusion is gone. We don't need the fancies from the leftist side. We've got the colonel and the truth as our guide. Yeah, the Wyatt Army marches on until the fake news twilight turns to dawn. We see the objective, we know where we belong. The Wyatt Army marches on. From the loyal subscribers to the trolls beneath the bridge, to the hate wankers hiding on the digital ridge. It matters not who's listening, the evil or the kind, because the colonel's got the drive to open up the mind. Legacy media serving up the lens of lies and fake, but we shatter all the mirrors for the future's sake. Energy and enthusiasm breaking through the screen, the sharpest moral clarity the world has ever seen. They tried to shut the signal down, the shadow and the
Indeed, indeed. And here you are, folks. Once again, welcome back. Again, it's not self-aggrandizement. Some people seem to think that's self-aggrandizement, but it's not. That is a tribute to the brew. And those who've been with the channel for a long time know who the brew is. Why is I cannot find this. It really torques me off that I cannot find these files that I've saved. I've saved it on my desktop. Let me see if it'll save on my desktop. Go to the desktop because it's not showing up where I want it to be. Hang on a second. Ronell made that... and she made an couple alternates. We had said that where are the white dudes? There are no white dudes in that picture. So first off, someone wanted a blonde. Then we got a Megan Rapinoe looking blonde, and then we got the long haired blonde who was very attractive. Guys were asking for the blonde. Now where the heck is this at? I just saved it on my desktop. There it is. Okay, and then we said we wanted one for the fellas. Ladies, don't be offended, but this came up in a conversation about Sydney Sweeney. So, silent target, 500 Rand. Woo, baby. Yes, that's right, Deanie. Here you go. So this is the alternate Wyatt Army logo. If you want this one, it costs extra because it weighs more. This one weighs a little bit more than the others. So for those who are curious in the Wyatt Army alternate logo patch, this is the alternate patch. Ronell designed this. Here you go. So there you go. There's the alternate patch right there, folks, if you like that one. Just saying. That's someone's got a serious back brace issue going on there. Woo! Missing a blonde and chubby Dutchman in the Army. There's no chubby Dutchman. There's also no white guys in this one. It's all coloreds, blacks, Indians, and a blonde. What about some news? Okay, Martin, get some news. Hang in there. Hang in there. Silent target. I have to explain to people where I've been, man. JSA says, wow. Dolly is also there. Silent target. Yeah, there are limits. I think in South Africa, it's 2,500 might be the limit for what you can do. But you can do $500 in the U.S. We've seen people U.S. currency do $500,000 super chats before. So yesterday and today, the Pretoria Center specialist was very busy on X again. Oh, corner specialist. She's a Joburg corner specialist, isn't she? There you go. So, all right. Okay, that one is for the boys. The ladies need one, the colonel without a shirt on. Okay. Yeah, so that's the alternative one. For some reason, I can't find that in my search. Wasn't expecting this podcast. Neither was I, Daffy. Well, my internet has finally returned, but it's not 100%. I'm supposed to be getting a gigabyte of download. I'm getting 2/3 of that. So I'm not going to complain because the upload is what matters for now. But hopefully we get a sit there. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Silent Target just gave 2,500 super chat. Wow. Did you try 5,000? It got rejected. Woo! The clouds are gathering. Oh, my goodness, Tata. The clouds are gathering. Oh, my goodness. The clouds are gathering. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness. Clouds are gathering. Oh my goodness. That's not what I wanted. The clouds are gathering. Why can I not find that? Anyway. I can't find that video right now. The clouds are gathering. I should have that. You should have said gathering. Yeah, the clouds. Tata. The clouds are gathering. Gathering. Oh, ta-ta, the clouds are gathering. Meanwhile, the president of Botswana's like, what the hell is going on here? Who is this crazy lady? There goes the Christmas bonus. Bugger, man, you should have asked. You shave beard. I should ask for 5,000. Thank you, Silent Target. That is super kind of you, man. Wow, don't blow it all today. Save it for the 25th, man. It's my birthday on the 25th. Anyway, where is the troll last night? Where's the troll from last night? Oh, how are the donations going? Are you begging for money? No, and then everybody started super chatting. That was fun on my mobile. I appreciate that, guys. Excuse me. All right, Martin wants some news. Okay, Martin, Martin, I'll do the news if you're still here. Otherwise, I'm going to keep trotting away. Isier, still there? Are you still there? Come on, Martin. Let me know if you're still here, Martin, then I'll do some news. I'm going to wait. It's a few seconds behind, so I'll give Martin a chance to tell him if he's still here. Yeah, Deanie Christmas. Oh, okay, there you go. All right. Okay, Martin, just for you, my friend. Now, everybody get mad. If you're mad about me tearing from the entertaining fun we're having now, you're going to have to consult with Martin because Martin forced me to start presenting the news. Oh, my gosh. Am I starting to break out here? All right. So, all right, here we go. The United States has seized another vessel off the Venezuelan coast. U.S. interdicting seizing a vessel. $500, a lot for me, but a chubby Dutchman called Peter on that shield. Oh, thank you so much for that, Befokta. 335 rand is awesome. Anything is great. Appreciate it, guys, so much. United States interdicting seizing a vessel off the coast of Venezuela in international waters. 3 U.S. officials told Reuters today. A move that comes days after U.S. President Trump announced a blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers. Now, that's important. It's not a blockade of Venezuela. It's a blockade of sanctioned oil tankers. Very clear distinction there. Coast Guard and Pentagon referred questions to the White House, which did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Yeah, of course, on Tuesday, President Trump said, I'm ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. Wow. While many vessels picking up oil in Venezuela are under sanctions, others transporting the country's oil and crude from Iran and Russia have not been sanctioned. Some companies, particularly U.S.'s Chevron, transport Venezuelan oil in their own authorized ships. China is the biggest buyer of Venezuelan crude, which accounts for 4% of its imports, with shipments in December on track to average more than 600,000 barrels per day. Wow. As of this week, of more than 70 oil tankers in Venezuelan waters that are part of the Shadow Fleet, 38 are under sanctions. Well, guess what? Venezuela's ability to ship oil will be reduced by 50%, and this country will collapse into poverty. Maduro's days are numbered. Without money to pay off his henchmen, he will find that his support will evaporate. Brown University shooting suspect was dead for 2 days before the Keystone Cops, the inept law enforcement officials in Rhode Island, actually found him. Dead for 2 days. Suspect shot himself after allegedly killing an MIT professor and 2 Brown University students. An autopsy report on the suspect in the mass shooting at Brown University and the killing of MIT professor in Massachusetts has shown that he died from self-inflicted wound 2 days before he was found in a storage locker on Thursday. New Hampshire Attorney General's report estimates that Claudia Manuel Neves Valente, 48, a Portuguese national, had been living in the U.S., died December 16th, the same day that his fellow countryman, MIT nuclear physics professor Nuno Loureiro, died at a hospital in Massachusetts. 3 days earlier, authorities have said he was responsible for a shooting in Rhode Island that claimed lives of 2 students, Ella Cook and Mohammed Aziz Kuruzkov, and injured 9 others at Brown University's Barris and Holly Engineering Building. The crimes were not immediately linked because investigators led people in a wild goose chase. A tip-off in Rhode Island was a suspicious man was seen driving away in a gray Nissan and Florida plates. And here's the thing. A homeless former Brown University student is the one who broke the case. The police, the inept University Police, the inept Providence, Rhode Island Police, and state law enforcement, as well as the feckless president of that university who makes $3 million a year for being a moron, diversity hire, as well as the idiot moron Colombian national, who apparently is the chief of police there for the city of Providence. This DI woke garbage. This is why the country's going to hell in a handbasket. Excuse me. Bunch of DI woke nonsense going on there, folks. Leilu, there's a lot of people here. You should be recognizing a few other people, but there's a lot of people here that are old OGs. South Africa is defiant after the U.S.'s severe consequences threat over the raid and refugee center. But that's not why the U.S. sent severe consequences, BBC. Once again, British bullshit corporation misleading the public, saying the reason the United States sent severe consequences statements because of the raid. No, it was because of their treatment of U.S. officials. South African government has dismissed accusations by the U.S. that it harassed and intimidated American officials during a raid on its center of processing applications by white South Africans for refugee status. Once again, you see, notice how they don't contact me because they don't want the truth. They don't want the truth. They don't want the news. An interracial couple was there, an Indian mother with a child was there, and others were there. It's not white South Africans. This is propaganda spread by racists, spread by the racist British Broadcasting Corporation, spread by the racist publications in South Africa's mainstream media, spread by the racists in South Africa's government. It is not white South Africans. For the 1 trillionth frickin' time, read the embassy website. Speak to people who actually participate in the program. Bunch of liars, bunch of scumbags. You cannot trust any media. And again, prove me wrong. You can't because it's the truth. You can't because I'm telling the truth. U.S. accused South Africa of publishing a passport details officials saying this was unacceptable and warned of severe consequences. But South Africa denied this, saying it treats matters of security, data security with utmost seriousness. No, it doesn't. U.S. is offering asylum status to members of South African community. Nope. Nope. Once again, the British bullshit corporation. It is not asylum, you dingbat doorknobs. You idiotic, moronic fools who pretend to be a media outlet with actual journalists. You are just a propaganda outlet. It is not asylum. It is not asylum. It is refugee status. Asylum is a completely different legal process with different legal standards. They are similar, but they are not the same. These are fake news that people have been reading and believing and digesting for decades. They are frauds, complete frauds. Trump is suing this corrupt news organization for $10 billion. I hope that he gets that and gets another $40 billion in punitive damages. I hope that Trump wins a $50 billion settlement against the BBC, $40 billion in damages. The U.S. administration has reduced its yearly intake of refugees from 125,000 to 7,500. It says will prioritize Afrikaners who are mostly descendants of Dutch and French. No, they're not. Once again, bullshit. Learn how to do research. They're mostly German. They are descended from Dutch, French, Huguenots, and Germans primarily. So get the story straight. Stop misleading people. This is how people wind up believing bullshit that isn't true. You have a lot of boors who think that they're just Dutch and Huguenot. You're not. You're not. How do you get names like Engelbrecht? Engelbrecht is a German name. Schmidt is a German name. And the list goes on and on and on. Okay, so that's another lie. And they're prioritizing these Afrikaners. Yes, that's true. They are prioritizing Afrikaners, but the program is not exclusively for them. After the raid on the processing center, South Africa expressed concern that foreign officials appeared to have coordinated with undocumented workers, said it reached out to the U.S. and Kenya to resolve the matter. After the fact, not before the fact, they're liars. How do they get hired to do such crappy jobs? Well, because leftists run everything. While those of us are hardworking, patriotic, God-fearing Christians, Muslims, and Jews, we're busy working and raising our families and earning a living and paying taxes to keep society lubricated and functioning. The leftists rose up against the system in the 1960s and perverted the system and infiltrated initially at our universities, and from there into our high schools, from there into our churches, from there into our government, from there finally into our corporate boardrooms. The entire world was turned upside down, run by self-loathing, evil, racist white people. Yeah, that's what I said. Evil, racist white people. That's right. They're the ones who ruin this country, the world. But the evil, racist white people weren't racist against blacks. No. Or Asians. No. They're evil, racist against white people. That's how this all started. Basson is another one. Yeah. No, Basson is, actually, I think is French. Basson. Yep. Holzhausen. There's a German name. There you go. The wooden houses. Yeah. How do we get this place in history? How did Germans become such... It's a good question, Virtual Western Cape. And the reason we got there is because they control it. I just explained how they got in power, and then they controlled the narrative for years. And the media became diametrically opposed to government and refused to do its job properly. The magic date, I can tell you the date that it all happened. You want to know the date that they turned on the people? The date that the media turned on the people, and then by extension later turned on the government. They turned on the American government, and the date they turned on the American government, then the date that the international media turned on the people coincided exactly with the Tet Offensive. The Tet Offensive. And Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite. That's where this all started. That's where this all started, folks. This all started with Walter Cronkite and the Tet Offensive. Up until the Tet Offensive, the racist president, Lyndon Baines Johnson, who used the N-word in the White House, who was vile and repulsive, who created a cocked-up plan that if we give welfare to blacks, we'll have their vote forever. This racist, Lyndon Baines Johnson from Texas, the Democratic president who destroyed this country with his Great Society garbage and welfare, that's when... All right, strutting you in the USA. You're gone for today. Here in the USA, it's only 4 in the afternoon. Where are you gone to? What did I miss here? What's going on, strutting? It's not like midnight for you. What's going on? Anyway, so yeah, this is how it all started. It started with Tet. Because up until Tet, the media bought everything that the U.S. government was telling them, the U.S. Army was telling them, that the international media, the governments around the world tell them this is how things are. They would just buy it. They wouldn't investigate seriously. And then what happened? Folks? Then what happened is suddenly Tet. Not only were the Viet Cong not defeated, not only was the North Vietnamese army not defeated, but they were everywhere. The Viet Cong were everywhere. They were on the embassy compound in Saigon shooting at CIA officers and Marines. They were invading the compound. Now they were defeated, and as a force, the Viet Cong, which had been an effective guerrilla force for 30 years, was destroyed. They were no longer effective after 1968, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Philip Holtz, there's another German name. It did not matter. That's when the media turned against the government and then by extension turned against the people. That's when they'll start. And then it ramped up with Watergate, with the mischief that Nixon and his evil little minions were up to. And ever since then, the media has been dishonest. They've lied. They've misled the world. They hoodwinked us into a loser president, James Carter. They hoodwinked us into Bill Clinton because people were stupid and fell for the narrative about the economy when the economy is actually not in recession. But white-collar workers had lost their jobs in a corporate restructuring that was over the country, widespread, and that's when it all went down. Bookie Befugte says, Kompromiss, große Burson, Rugby-Spieler, 350, Eye Candy auf Army Wappen, kein Bart, nur Kiefer, Tagisch Doppelbart. Okay, you want the beard gone, huh? Several comments from Nigerians on YouTube, the US dollar will be ruined by BRICS. Why does the daydream still? Because they're stupid people, Deanie. Stupid people. There is no BRICS currency. There's nothing to back it up. What are you going to back it up with? Russian oil? You're going to back it up with Chinese slave labor? You're going to back it up with South African Krugerrands? There's nothing to back up a BRICS currency. Without China, there is no BRICS. China now represents 68% of the BRICS GDP. It represented 85% until the other countries led in recently, like Saudi Arabia and Venezuela and others. Excuse me. Iran. Ah, there you go. Esmeralda is the Portuguese version of the French. Yes. Trump's DOJ just announced this week they're encouraging white American males to claim reparations for discrimination. I didn't see that. I would do that too. I would be able to claim reparations for my promotion being held up in 1994 for 7 months. Yeah, I want reparations for that. Sneeman is, I believe that's of Dutch descent. That's correct. Okay. All right. Afrikaners had to battle the Zulus. We survived that. Then we had peace. Then the English came, and this gold was discovered. English came back. They committed war crimes. Of course they committed war crimes. They were the first people to implement concentration camps in the modern era by putting women, children, and black African workers into concentration camps. 16,000 women and children and elderly starved to death and died from disease in those camps. And they had a scorched earth campaign. They destroyed everyone's property. The British owe the Afrikaner people trillions of dollars of reparations for the war crimes they committed in the Anglo-Boer War. 100%. 100%. No question about it. No question about it. Meanwhile, the smear campaign has already started against Ambassador Brent Bozell. SABC thought they were funny, and AIOL tries to be funny too. In 1987, Brent Bozell wrote a letter protesting the terrorist ANC, as he described it, and he was upset about that. And so they're saying he's anti-ANC because in 1987 he wrote a letter to be part of a protest that lasted one day when Oliver Tambo came to America. Stupid people should really wear signs, folks. They should really wear signs. That doesn't make him anti-ANC. That just makes him a good human being. The ANC murdered 20 to 25,000 Inkatha Freedom Party leaders in the 1980s, early 1990s. Geraldo Rivera drawing battle plans live on TV during the Battle of Fallujah. Yeah, what an idiot he was. Yeah. Standard Bank is now open in China so that caterers can move their loot to China. Well, there you go, Alan. That's not a surprise. When do the rest fight for South? What depends, silent target, who you are. If you're Khoisan, you fought for South Africa from 1652 onwards. If you're Xhosa, you began fighting for it in the late 18th century. If you are in the 18th century, if you were Zulu, you began fighting for it in the 19th century. If you're Afrikaners, okay, so take your pick. Which group are we talking about? Anyway, let me just get to this very quickly. Christopher Scrooby, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you, Colonel, for the great news and assistance, accurate information for refugees. Well, it's not just for refugees, but you're very welcome with that. Okay, so let me just... so this is the video I did. It has 30,000 plus views. It should have 300,000. It gets frustrating. Here you go.
Remember, this man is a political project. He's not a diplomat. He's not an ambassador.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. With the official vote now complete in the nomination of 97 Trump appointees after the Republicans used the nuclear option to get this out on the floor, Brent Bozell has officially been confirmed as the ambassador to South Africa. Now, I reported a few days back that he had been voted in, but that's because they got this thing through cloture, and now it's a vote and it's official. So SABC and the Independent Line have already begun the smear campaign against Brent Bozell. and expect more of this in the coming days until he presents his credentials. Whether Durko accepts them or not, it's another story. But you can expect the smear campaign against Brent Bozell to pick up lots of attention. Funny how when Lana Marks, the handbag manufacturer, was the ambassador to South Africa, the media didn't care. They brought on the programs to spew gobbledygook and nonsense about South Africa as long as it suited their needs. But now that we have someone of substance coming to South Africa, they want to start a smear campaign. He's not a diplomat? Well, two of the characters on this South African Broadcasting Corporation insult-laden analysis were there, along with the host, largely to insult and be dismissive and belittle Brent Bozell.
I think it's a waste of time, frankly, and discussing this. And I didn't hear of Brent Bozell before he was nominated, and he's had no background in foreign affairs or experience in it.
One of the three commenters is a former diplomat who noted Bozell's media experience and suggested that Durko. So here's the thing. All of our ambassadors to South Africa, political appointees, virtually none of them have any political experience. Lana Marks had no political experience. Ruben Brigida was an exception because he's a political wonk and had been appointed by the Democrats to be the ambassador to the African Union. Briefly, he was my boss there. So it's just the norm. Jendai Frazier was not a politician. She was a policy wonk, and she rode the coattails of Condoleezza Rice like so many black women did. Many of them wholly unqualified for what they did. They knew nothing about Africa. They just happened to be black, and so they were promoted as ambassadors. Johnny Carson, I'm trying to remember if Johnny Carson was ambassador in South Africa, but he was one of the actually really qualified career diplomats. But it's rare that a career diplomat winds up as ambassador. Thank you for becoming a member, Christopher Scrooby. It's rare that that is a post that is given to a political appointee. So this is disingenuous and dishonest. They act like this is the first time. None of them raised a hair about Lana Marks because she was an idiot. They didn't care about Lana Marks being the ambassador because she was stupid. She just repeated the lies the ANC told her, and she was all like, oh, I like being here. It's such a wonderful place. She went beyond being diplomatic to being collusionary in the scam that was going on against South African people. Afrikaner Frau says her husband doesn't watch me. Well, you know, Afrikaner Frau, thank you, bye donkey, for watching me. That's your husband's loss. That's your husband's loss. Again, you never understood how misleading media is. No, they are. And our media just is misleading. They still call this a program for farmers. Rarely do you find a journalist that tells the truth. It is a program that prioritizes Afrikaners, but is open to all racial minorities. They never tell you that. They also never tell you that Afrikaners aren't even, Afrikaners may not even be the majority of people who participate in the program, because you have white English-speaking South Africans who are a large component of this. They also never bother to mention that Afrikaans and English-speaking at this stage is really not the best distinction. You have people like, Monty Jackson. He's an Afrikaner. Jackson is not an Afrikaans name. You know what I mean? Anyway. Just finished a Lekker Braai, says Afrikaner Frau. My husband doesn't follow you. He knows everything. Well, how does he know everything then if he doesn't follow me? You must be keeping informed. I don't need a rest. I have stopped taking the medicine for the damage done to my lungs by Saddam Hussein. And so after 2 weeks of not taking the medicine, that stuff has begun to build up again. So I have to start taking the medicine again. I don't like taking medicine. I refuse. Is that true? Cook and Mercedes is definitely out, or just... I have not heard any update on that enemy. I have not heard any update on that. There's no news being reported on it. And JSA wants some Savannah. You're drinking Savannah? Ugh, not my cup of tea. I'm glad you enjoy it, though. Now's the time to cozy up to Ambassador. We truly have a lot to lose. Yep. Hey, faithful farmer. Welcome to you. Ich möchte einen Schlummertrunk. Okay, Venture, I think you say so. So ich persönlich hätte gerne ein Frappuccino. Aber ich trinke kein Cappuccino jetzt. Kein Cappuccino, sondern Frappuccino, schon seit 4. November. So now it's the 5th of December is when I could drink Frappuccino, and I haven't. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 10 days. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 16 days since I've been allowed to drink Frappuccino, and I haven't had a single one. Proving that this in my chest has nothing to do with Frappuccinos. People said it was the Frappuccinos. It may contribute and may make it go faster and accelerate it, but whatever's going on in my chest is not that. It's a consequence of my never betray the caffeine. I'm with you on that. Well, I'm not betraying the caffeine. I'm having caffeine, but caffeine, I'm inured to it. Caffeine does nothing to me. It's the sugar that gets me going. Hello. All right, so faithful farmers in from New England. How's it going, New England? Anna Kruger, you never did answer about your car. I hope it's going well. Glühwein. I can drink Glühwein, but only during Fasching, and only if it's really, really cold outside and it's super hot, because otherwise it tastes disgusting. Glühwein, yes. This is not Glühwein. No, this is iced tea. This is iced tea. That's all that is. That's all that is, iced tea, folks. Yeah, the smear campaign against Brent Bozell. Yep. Shame. And so, the one I did about Kali Creole, I thought that one had died, but gained some more viewers today. That's cool. Not a lot. It was getting about 300, 400 per hour, which is good. Took it to 49,600, so it should hit 50,000. That's nice. Yeah, Corey says that caffeine makes her sleep. It's possible. Some people are inured to it. I'm one of those people. Caffeine really, I could drink, I could drink an espresso, 4 espressos, and sit on the couch and fall asleep. It doesn't keep me awake. Yep. So anyway, folks, just an update on the program. We'll get back to the news from Martin, but I've had a steep slide. Tuesday was the 16th when I reported that news. And then we went from Tuesday to Wednesday, I had 240,000 views to 193 on Wednesday. Thursday was 141. Friday, 93,000 views. Today, probably going to be a lot less, but we'll try to get that going. I will be doing a Night Owls tonight. I don't do a Night Owls on Saturday, but because of the disruption in my broadcasting schedule, I will do one later tonight. So, the bribery scandal is the one that's done the most in the last month. That one's got me 71,000 views, and South Africa's Enemy got 71,000 views. Yeah, so, that's in the last 28 days. I haven't had 100,000 video. I thought I had 100,000. I guess I haven't in 30 days. Interesting. But lifetime on the channel now, folks, just so you know, we have 30, come on YouTube, a little faster, 36,300,000 views. 3.1 million hours watched, 119,000 subscribers. Anna Kruger, thank you for your membership, Anna. Very kind of you. Is that a little reindeer with a cap on? Shock, du magst kein Glühwein. No, I do. I do drink Glühwein under certain conditions. That's what I just said. Anyway, folks, we've had a really good year this year on the channel. Let me just look at this year. Just tell you what's been going on for the last 365 days, which runs into December last year, okay? December was pretty sad. This is when I almost kind of gave up on broadcasting this stuff and was only going to do the news. I got in December 21st, 2,000 views. December 22nd, 1,200 views. December 24th, 5,000 views. December 25th, 1,500 views on my birthday last year. 1,500 views. Wow. That was for a channel with almost 20,000 subscribers. And then we got to January 1st, we had 29,000. So from then till now, we've had 32,100,000 views, 2.6 million hours, 98,700 subscribers. Can we get to 100,000 subscribers before the year's over? I would really love to say 2025, we hit 100,000 subscribers. We've got 98,700 subscribers this year. We have got 11 days left, 2 weeks. We can do it. We need 1,300 subscribers. Can we do that? Can we do that? We tried to do it for tried to get 3,000 for the Truth Report, and we missed it by 300. I'm asking for less than that in 11 days. Let's see if we can do it. My birthday is Christmas Day. It's Christmas Day, Boki Befokta. These are obviously people that haven't been around a long time. The 25th. Forgot my TV on playing your channel when I went out for the day, so I watched a few old videos without knowing. Well, thank you, Fabian. I appreciate that. Why must you click 20 ads to watch the stream? Neo, because that's what YouTube does. Thank you for watching them, or you can skip them if you like. Chris Afrikaans, have you many English surnames, many long lists? Do you know what you're saying? I have no idea what you're talking about. Do I know what I'm saying? What, when I read Afrikaans? I don't understand what you mean. The plot against South Africa. Yes, I have seen that, and I've done a video on that, and we made a song about it called The Lying Dutchman. Thank you, Snippets. You're a little bit behind. Let me find The Lying Dutchman here. Okay. Here it is right here. A 10-minute video I did on this. I did this video. That was on December 14th. That's already 6 days ago. So here it is. This is my response to it. This video is to explain a little bit of a background about a video that's appeared from a Dutch documentary team that was in South Africa a few months back. Now, the video is called The Plot Against South Africa. So I think it's necessary to describe my role in this because they filmed at my site. So let me tell you what I know about this. What happened was I held a meet and greet at Opiplas in Pretoria. I believe it was the 10th of May, 2025. And we had 300 to 500 people show up. Now, I didn't authorize or ask anybody from the media to show up, but word got out. CBS News was there. Newsroom Africa, I think, was there. I can't confirm. A couple other South African media outlets were there to cover my presentation, and also a Dutch film crew. They did come up to me at the beginning of this and ask if they could film. I said, as long as people don't object to you talking to them, I have no problem with that. You can film me if you like. They said, can we interview you afterwards? Well, what they didn't know, and the rest of the crowd didn't know, is that I had interviews scheduled with Thea van Straten, the first refugee interview ever conducted about South African refugees. That was scheduled in Pretoria East, and I had to leave there. Many of my meet and greets this year went for as long as 5 to 7 hours answering people's questions. Now, I've been doing meet and greets forever. It's interesting that in this video, the documentary production doesn't bother to mention my name, doesn't mention my bona fides, doesn't mention who I am. They just call me an influencer. That's obviously an attempt to minimize who I am, my bona fides, and my background. This is what the media do all the time, instead of telling you who they're actually putting in here. In this video, the plot against South Africa is absolutely comical. This guy was like a leopard sitting around waiting to pounce on people. He went to the airport, tried to pounce on them and harass them at the airport, and he asked me questions. Now, you'll notice that in this documentary, unless I missed it, I'm not asked any questions. He's simply filming where I'm at. Now, I'm not put in a bad light, and I'm not complaining about that. So this is obviously not bitter grapes or sour grapes, bitter wine, sour grapes. I'm not complaining about that. What I am going to tell you is that this is a bogus documentary because the whole thing is full of information that was incorrect when it was gathered several months ago and is even less. By the way, did you notice the time? 2:00. That's 2 a.m. That's 24-hour clock. 2 a.m. when I recorded this. Correct today. The record has been set straight many, many, many times. But this film crew, and let me talk about my interaction. After they ambushed me at my event, when I came from the Boer Mark that morning to go there, I showed up. They ambushed me at that event and asked if they could stay. And I said, okay, fine. I'm not going to kick you out. It's a public restaurant. As long as people say you can film, it's okay. You can film me. When they ambushed me, as I had to leave because it went on for a bit, I said, folks, I got to go. They caught me going out because I did say I would interview with them, so I stopped to talk to them. This guy kept asking me very pointed questions because it was pretty obvious that he didn't want the truth. He wanted to support his racist, leftist, Dutch, liberal narrative. And that's what I'll call it. Because the questions were, what gives President Trump the right to take farmers? And I said, first off, and I corrected him on the spot, notice he doesn't say retired colonel, intelligence analyst, journalist, independent media consultant. Doesn't tell you any of that about me in the documentary. And you can have the link. It's below this. You can go watch it if you want. He just calls me an influencer. And then when he asked me, what gives President Trump the right? And I told him from my position of knowledge and informed information. I said, well, the Immigration Nationality Act of 1980. But before that, he said white farmers. I said, first off, the program isn't for farmers. Go look at the embassy website. It's not for farmers. Since February 10th, it is stated for racial minorities. And it's not a program for farmers. He takes the video and tries to give you the impression that this is a scam effort for people to get out of South Africa. And also misleads people and lies. He blatantly lies, saying that President Trump has shut down the border people from war zones. That's untrue. That's factually untrue. I show the statistics. The numbers are very low, but Afghans and Rwandans and Ethiopians and others have come into this country. So yes, I'm familiar with the plot against South Africa. It's bullshit propaganda. Entirely propaganda, folks. Anna Kruger just gave us 70 rand super chat. The clouds are still gathering. Says, I sent you a song my daughter wrote about you in WhatsApp. Okay. Wow, do we dare listen to this, folks? Excuse me. Gosh bless, I can't get rid of this. So let me see. Anna. Okay. All right. My daughter wrote a song about you. Okay. She thinks it's awesome. Well, let me play a little bit of it. I can play the whole thing, but it's 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Let's listen in for a second. Ooh, 80s synth vibe.
In a world of noise, you bring the light.
I like it.
Colonel Chris Wyatt's got the truth day and night. No sugarcoat, no fake disguise. You speak the facts, we open our eyes. Always on the ground for the people true, giving us the real when the rest won't do. Thanks, Colonel Chris Wyatt, for up release. You show up, you speak loud and clear, for the people, for the cause. You're always here, giving us the news that the others hide. Thanks for being you, Colonel Chris Wyatt. We ride. Thanks, Colonel Chris Wyatt, for being the voice, keeping it real. No pointless choice. You got our backs. You show the way. Thanks for the truth in a crazy day. In the shadows, you stand tall, a pillar for the truth, for us all.
Imagine Dragons. Yeah, it does sound like
See
that.
you, we hear you, we got you too. Thanks for being real, that's what we do. Thanks, Colonel Chris Wyatt, for being the voice, keeping it real. No pointless choice. You got our backs. You show the way. Thanks for the truth in a crazy day. So here's the Colonel Chris Wyatt. Shout out loud. Thanks for the real. We got you proud. Keep on speaking truth. Keep on being you. Thanks, Colonel Chris Wyatt, for being there for us too.
Wow, Anna, that's amazing. How old is your daughter, by the way, that wrote that? I'm just curious. Yeah, well, I don't see the Sunnyside Detective getting songs written about her. Guys, I've said it many, many times. You fuel my desire. You know, in the dark days when we're struggling back, you know, like I said, December last year, Christmas Day, 1,500 views. We have 1,200 views on this stream here on an unannounced late night stream for most South Africans. It's just a world of difference. My news broadcasts are averaging 4,000 to 6,000 viewers every day. That's just awesome, incredible. I'd like it to be 40,000 to 60,000. That'd be better. I mean, trust me, you're getting a lot better quality content here than you get from Officer Tatum. No dig on Officer Tatum, but he's just a celebrity and not a political scientist or historian. Anyway, an entertainer. Jan said that I watched yesterday's broadcast, heard you talking about Starlink, their promotion. Well, I looked at Starlink. I'm not seeing that promotion. So also, it's very expensive. You guys keep talking about Starlink, but it costs a lot for very little that you get. So here's Starlink. Roam with Starlink, $229 for the mini kit. So it's still $229, $70 off. And if you want unlimited, you pay $165 a month. Wow. If I use it in South Africa, I'll be arrested or they'll confiscate it because it's illegal. So I can't use it in South Africa. But yeah, $165 for unlimited access. Yep. Works anywhere in 150 countries, but not South Africa. And it works when you're moving. That I like. So I could put this on the top of a camper or something like that and drive down the road and still broadcast. But yeah, that's not inexpensive. When they give the equipment away and they charge $50 for unlimited, then I'll consider it. But 50 gigabytes for $50, that's $1 gigabyte. That's too much. I mean, my live streams eat 4 or 5 gigabytes. I would go through $50 just like that, and then would I have to pay for the extra? No, that's still not there yet. But thank you for that, Jan. I'll look for that promotion. I don't see that promotion anywhere, though, so... but thank you for that. What are your plans for Christmas Day? Well, Sean, I will pay it forward like I always do. Christmas Day, some of it will be spent here. Also, the plan is that we will be having the Veterans Place open on Christmas night, and so I plan to go and dress as Santa Claus on Christmas night. Yep. Yeah, so that's the plan. So, Light Rain says, horrible to say, but getting 200,000 depending on how horrible the NC decides to behave. No insult to the audience, but people show up for bad news. I know. Isn't it true, Light Rain? How come you never say good things about South Africa? I do, and nobody watches it. Only a handful of you watch it. Yeah, so. Silent Target, who's given some big super chats, wants to know what's the difference between people migrating to Northern America and those that went to South Africa. Very, very big differences. So, for instance, The United States was not colonized by Ngoni-speaking Bantu peoples coming down, migrating in. We weren't colonized by those people. We were colonized originally by Asians coming across the Bering Strait in different waves. They came 25,000 years ago. Then they all disappeared. Then they came back again in a wave about 10,000 years ago. And they colonized the Americas. The original inhabitants died off long ago. And then the second wave of colonization came through the Bering Strait and down into the Americas. Then the North American continent was later colonized by Europeans, Spanish, French, English, and then waves of Europeans came after that. But those are the original settlers here. But Southern Africa was settled by the Nguni-speaking peoples about 1,300 years ago. And over about a 300-year period, they arrived. And then Europeans arrived in 1652 for permanent settlement. So there's a big difference between these places. There are similarities in that an alien group like the Asians or the Bantu-speaking peoples invaded and occupied an area. The difference with Southern Africa and with North America is there weren't indigenous human beings in North America. None. There were none before the Asian invaders came, Asian colonizers. And in Southern Africa, the Khoi and San were there. And before them, Homo naledi and others, millions of years ago. So, there's no such thing as indigenous. It's just a made-up term. Thank you, Anna, for the song. It was lovely. And, okay, where are we at here now? Now his internet's acting up. Sorry about that. Amazing yacht destinations. How are things in Thailand, my friend? Martin likes the song. Cool, Martin. We still got more news, Martin. Don't run off. Adventure Icing says Dutch lefts are about the worst. Woke People 35, thank you for the news. You can add this song to J Silver Eagle. Well, I can't unless Anna gives me permission. Okay. Did you find crazy comment you look for in Night Owls? No, I did not. Oh, it was in the Project X group. Okay, well, okay, is that where it came from? Let me see. Let me see if I can go back and find it because I want to see it. Okay, so it wasn't the Project X people that did it. It was just in that group. I don't think it was anybody in the Project X. Okay, now it's my WhatsApp is locked up. It's so far behind. Thank you for that, Sumeri. I forgot about that. Went over to Starling offshore. Every time we get tropical storms, Wi-Fi. Yeah, exactly, Alan. Yep. South Africa's a beautiful country, and that's where it ends. Stop listening to Officer Tatum when he came out with an unhinged support for the Uvalde police when they stood around. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, and the guy, let me tell you why Officer Tatum is big. And no dig on him. Officer Tatum is big because during Black Lives Matter, he stood up for the truth. And here's a black man who stood up for the truth. Oh, there it is. Okay, got it. Okay, here you go. Thank you. I found it. Thank you. Okay, I don't want it there. I got to put in downloads. Okay. It might have even been Nicole that forwarded that to me. I don't remember. Marty said, I'm not sure it would matter if he's making money out of it. He's literally not sleeping sometimes, giving feedback to people that are in the dark. Yep. All right, so that was a couple days ago. Frick Sten said, in relation to the comment, he says, I see retard very clearly. And then someone said, I wanted to tell Uncle Chris that when we went for our interview 2 weeks ago, there was a family. The mother was colored and 2 little girls, but the father was black. And they were there for the second interview. So even black people are going, exactly. Thank you very much for that. Oh, somebody's got a nice kitty cat here. That's cool. Cats. Anyway, so all right, yeah, so that's it. I've got it now. Let me bring up the screen for the audience to see. This is the thing that I was talking about. So this racist, black racist, propagandist, slander, criminal injurious scumbag wrote the following. And this one isn't fuzzy. Someone found it. So this was put on, I guess, on X or a comment on a video. So Monday 1250 said Chris Wyatt is one of the NGOs that are funded by the U.S. government. Excuse me. I am a non-government organization. When did I become a non-government organization? But anyway, it shows you how stupid these people are. He is working on the refugee program with quotes and spelling refugee incorrectly. It's a U.S. program, so you spell it with U.S. spelling, not your retarded Anglo spelling. Funded by the U.S. as his retirement work. He mentions in one of the videos that he started working in South Africa when he found a group that listens to him. This is a money-making scheme. Before this, he commented on several videos about South Africa farming taking over from American farming in terms for sales to China. What? South African farming taking over from American farming in terms of sales? What? South Africa could sell everything it produces and starve its population to death, and we would still have more wheat sales to China than your total aggregate sales. What kind of moron comes up with that nonsense? He called this movie by China stupid. Or this move by China stupid. Fast forward, he works on a program to lure South African farmers to America under the guise they're being killed. Lure South Africans to American farmers? What have I told you? I told you to stay in South Africa. Yes, and that they're probably going to do that. But guess what? They're going to wind up, and that was what I was going to say. I didn't get to Napoleon. I should have mentioned this earlier that was the first report I did when Martin asked me to cover the news. The Venezuelans are likely going to start using military to escort these tankers, and it's going to lead to shots fired. It's going to lead to shots fired. He preys on gullible farmers to help America bring their farming back. Bring our farming back? We have the most productive farms in the planet. The only problem we have is the Biden administration murdered 80 million freaking birds or something like that. What did they killed 20 million birds, wiped them out, and harmed our poultry industry. It pushed the price of eggs up to $9 for a dozen. The other problem we have is that Bill Gates and Ted Turner and these scumbag leftists have been buying up ranch land and turning it into just fallow land, shutting down beef markets. And as a consequence, our beef is very expensive. We're actually importing crap from Latin America when we shouldn't be. Yeah, whatever she has BB openings for painters and castles in the sky. Something interesting. Couldn't comment until I liked the stream. Okay, Varosha, it just took you this long. Oh, okay. Well, that's odd. Yeah, Leilu, but people believe that stuff, and then they spread it around, and then they lie about me. I mean, the people call me a white supremacist. Go ahead, prove it. White supremacist? When have I ever said white people are better than anybody else? When have I ever done anything to the advantage of white people? Never happened. I saved 640,000 black Africans from starving to death. That is not a very good white supremacist. A Klan member? Where the hell do I find a Klan? I've never seen the Klan. Klan member. CIA agent? I've openly told you I've worked with the CIA in the past when I was an intelligence officer. They're not that impressive. They're not that impressive. Trust me. They're just not that impressive. All right, so we just got 50 memberships by Silent Target. Thank you, Silent Target. These idiots are clueless. Let's keep them guessing. Soon they'll be playing Spot the Whitey in South Africa. Exactly. They have a limited vocabulary. You're right about that, Joe Texas. They're very stupid people. It's insane. Yes, and it's sickening. No, you guys have no idea the abuse that I've taken on behalf of bringing the truth to people, on behalf of Americans and South Africans and others. Exactly, Barbarian King. I'm terrible if I'm a white supremacist. I'm very ineffective. Very ineffective. That's what makes it so silly. And that's why by the way, anybody heard from our friend down under? I know he's had health issues, and I wish him well, but he's an evil, nasty bastard, and all the stuff he tried to start about me. And there was a time he had success at getting his little minions to run around and lie about me, and South Africans were dumb enough, some of them, to believe it. And so I lost interviews with people. But that doesn't happen anymore. 2 days ago, they told me I must wake up. You're CIA. Okay, so let me ask you this question. Let's pretend that I were actually CIA. Does it matter? What am I telling you that's incorrect? Which of my analyses have been false? Which of my predictions have not come true? Where have I misled you? So let's pretend I did work for the CIA. If I worked for the CIA, I'd be driving a freaking Mercedes SUV or, a Porsche Cayenne, but instead of a 2015 Chrysler that's falling apart. You got a timeout? No one gave you a timeout. Yeah, there's something going on. You're right, Neffin. I'm glad you recognize it's not us. None of my moderators gave you a timeout. I haven't seen any timeouts issued here. So it's happening behind the scenes where we can't even see it. Imagine how many other people being prevented from actually watching the stream right now by YouTube. Thank you for telling us. That's another problem with them. Yep. But Colonel, you're the Jason Bourne of South African News Cycle. Word on the street. So I love that. Jason, how will I contact you? Get some sleep, Pam. You look tired. Oh, that music, man. I love that music from Jason Bourne. That music is awesome. When do you get an interview with Willem Petzer? I don't know, Jan. Willem Petzer, it turned out that he's on the farm and he had no power and no internet. So that's why it fell apart last week. So, yeah. Yeah, I love that. That is the best thing. So let me see if I can find that. I love that song. Jason Bourne to Pamela Landy. Get some sleep, Pam. You look tired. Now, can I find that? Is there a video on it? Yeah, there it is. Get some sleep, Pam. You look tired. It's the best line. I love that movie, man. The Bourne Identity. It's rocks, man. Let me get to this. There it is. Here we go. How do I find you? I'm going to risk a copyright thing on this. Here we go. Here we go. Let me get this up here. This is awesome, man. Let me get myself up on the screen. Fair use. Okay, now fair use. Here we go. Here we go.
We'll talk about it. Lauren?
Here it goes. This is the best line ever, man. I love this line. This is great, man.
Get some rest, Pam. You look tired.
That is the best. What an ending for a film, man. I love that. The Bourne Identity, man. That rocked. That was so awesome. The best ever, man. Get some rest, Pam. You look tired. Oh, Extreme Ways. Yeah, what a great song, man. Extreme Ways. Yeah, that is great. Man, oh man, oh man. I love the Bourne stuff. Except the one they did with Jeremy Renner. That was kind of weird. Anyway. Oh, my goodness. Yep. Yeah, Jason Bourne in South Africa's Johannes Botha. Yeah, Moby did that song. Yeah, called Extreme Ways. Yeah, that is just great, man. Yeah, I'm part of the North Pole CIA Secret Santa. Okay, so back to my point. Okay, if they tell you I work for the CIA, so what? Tell me what to what end? To what? That's the funny thing. So they always tell people stuff like, "Oh, he's CIA." To what end? He's a white supremacist. Why do I meet with black people and colored people and help them? Why do I do that? It's stupid people. None of it makes sense. The actions prove otherwise. All he does is crap on South Africa. Really? Why am I going to Yellowstone and Grand Teton and the craters of the moon and to, zip lining in South Africa and writing songs like Save South Africa? These people are dumber. I mean, we can't even say a box of rocks. They're dumber than moon dust. I'm going to come up with a new phrase. They're dumber than moon dust. If you were CIA, I would ask you if aliens are real. They are, Faithful Farmer. They're real. They're going the guise of Democrats. Funded by the U.S. government, flying business class, staying in supporters' homes, struggling to keep his computer running, no editor, no boosting on X, shadow ban. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Light Rain. Although not flying in business class, I fly in economy. I fly economy. I might be able to splurge for economy plus occasionally, but I only fly economy. I've never flown business class on my trips to South Africa or to Europe. Nope. Only on occasion when I was in a government ticket in the Army and the plane was full and they had empty seats in business or first class. A couple of times in 30 years, I got bumped up because they can't cancel my ticket. Yep. Yeah. So I work for the CIA and so I have no internet. Yeah. If I worked for the CIA and have a frickin' Starlink unlimited account sitting outside, I'd be plugged into it. I'd never be off. I'd never lose internet. I wouldn't have these problems on my registry being all screwed up, and I wouldn't have problems with my hard drive acting all up and Windows updating. This wouldn't happen. I'd have a tech team fixing it, man. Give me a break. These people are dumb. Exactly, work people. If I were CIA, what would it matter? What would it matter if I was CIA? These people are stupid, man. Stupid beyond belief. They're dumber than moon dust. Oh, my goodness. Light Rain, other than the business class, you got everything right there. ANC is going to be using the coin sign to let EWC be justified. No one will be able to argue the facts that they were considered as First Nation. Well, yeah, I don't disagree with that. That's the problem. When you give a government this kind of power, they'll just take things from anybody. Yep. Yeah, Butterfly loves the Bourne movies. Yep. She wasn't happy. Oh, you look tired? Hey, Rohan, welcome back. Yeah, Corey loved the movies here. So did. Why help coloreds in California refugee program? Exactly. Why would I help coloreds? Why would I help Indians in Virginia? Why would I help people in South Africa? Why would I visit the okay, let me find that. Why would I visit the Basutu cultural village to promote Sutu? Why would I go tour the Basutu cultural village if I was a white supremacist? It just doesn't pass muster. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, folks. Why would I do such a thing? Hang on a second here. I mean, these people are really stupid people. I mean, honestly, why would I do something like this? So here you go. Golden Gate Park, 16th, 21st century experience. Hello, folks. Join me as we take a look at the Basutu Cultural Village. A visit to the Basutu Cultural Village at the foot of the Drakensberg Mountains in the Free State will give the visitor an insight into the lifestyle of the South Sutu peoples from the 16th century to the present day. The Basutu Cultural Village lies along the R7112 from Harrismith in the eastern side of the Golden Gate National Park, or from Clarence traveling through the park. The tour begins at the Katloa under the expert guidance of a tour guide. In my case, his name was Twice. A visitor cannot enter the chief's village and explore the way of life of his people without first receiving the chief's permission. Now, the chief is a generous host, and he'll offer you a sip of Sutu beer as a token of hospitality, and you may engage in a traditional game of Maraba Raba. At the Ngaka, the chief's bone thrower, a throw of the bones will give the visitor a peep into their future. At the dwellings of the first and second wives, visitors enjoy some mototo and dipapi. The interesting utensils and colorful decorations are discussed and explained here. Join us now for a tour of the Basutu Cultural Village, dedicated back in October 1994, with our guide, Twice. Thank you for listening.
The clothes of our girls from any age. This is our skirt for the girls. It's made from the plants. It's one of the bottle bloom. So our parents, they normally took 1 year to 2 years or 3 years to make one skirt. It's a hard work to make this. It was one of the important skirts for the girls because when they sit on the ground.
Yeah, because CIA spend all their time promoting the Sutu people. You know, it's obviously. And then of course we have Katrina. Oma Katrina Esau, the last speaker of New. Of course, busy being a white supremacist. You know how that goes. So there you go. Here you go. This one has 5,600 views. Hey, folks. Welcome back to the program. This is Chris in Uppington in the Northern Cape. And I'm kind of excited. I've been waiting 3 years to do this interview. 3 years. I'm here with a very interesting lady, Oma Katrina Esau, who's the last known speaker of a language that I do a very poor job of explaining. If I pronounce it correctly, it might be New. But no. Close? Okay, close. So, Oma Katrina Esau, her granddaughter Claudia is in the background. She's going to help because my Afrikaans, as you know, is not good enough to do this conversation. So I'll be speaking to Ms. Esau, and her granddaughter is going to translate and be my interpreter in Afrikaans. And we're going to ask her, speak a little bit of the language for us so that we have a recording of it so that people hear this and know about this. But first, Oma, I want to say bye-bye, donkey. Thank you for your time. It's a real pleasure to meet you. So I've waited a long time to meet you. You're a very interesting person. And I presume by now that you know that because a lot of people have been interviewing over the past few years.
I said that before om de oma te wees. Oma is baie belangrik en mense nie weet almal wat die stukkie van oma is. Is baie bevoorreg om dit te wees.
Okay. So, if I understand the story correctly, what happened is that many years ago, I think in the 1990s, people thought that your language had died. No one spoke it anymore.
I say het belangrik is om dit nie te doen. Maar die taal is in 19's gekry. Hulle gedink die taal is dood. As hy reg verstaan.
But it wasn't.
Ja, maar die taal was nie dood.
Nee, hy was glad nie dood nie. Dat die was drank, die was te droog. So if I understand correctly, when they
She was a little shy at
someone
first.
put a call out. I don't know if it was in the
Sy se broer se swaar se seun vir hom gesê hy moet die nuussprekers soek en nou toe is die anders al daar. Toe kry hulle vir my, toe kry hy Willem Valboy vir my. En toe vra hy vir my as ek hier is 'n wit man. Hy soek Boesmans kan taal praat.
Boesmans.
Dus ek nog skam om die taal te praat van die mense het mos nog gesê die taal is dood. So ons moet nie die taal praat nie. Nou toe wil ek nie praat nie. Toe sê ek nee man, ek praat die taal. Ek praat die Boesman taal. En die man lag van die man lag.
She just
And,
said
yeah.
what I just explained to you. But I just want to add that she was shy to speak the language because back in the days they were not able to speak it.
It was
Yeah.
discouraged.
Yeah. And then let linguists come and ask about
So my question, Oma, is when the linguist came and asked about the language, were you excited or surprised?
I say ek vra dit nou toe kom was ouma geskok of gelukkig of hoe
Ja, toe Nail na my toe kom Nail met my suster en my niggie. En hulle kom sê vir my, jong, jy weet mos waar bly ons so om?
Nee, ek vra was ouma opgewonde, was ouma bang om Nigel kom met ouma bang of opgewonde.
Nee. Ek was glad nie, ek was opgewonde. Want my suster is by my, niggie is by, en ek vra vir hulle, wat soek julle? Nee, jy moet kom, jy moet saam met ons gaan. Maar hy sê ook, die blanketje is ook hier, hy kom vat ons na onze oom toe, Keimus toe. En toe
Yeah, I was excited because I saw my sister, my cousins, and now they asked me if I can go.
Yeah, the CIA devotes a lot of time to spending 3 years trying to track down a 90-year-old Nultongenarian in Uppington in the Northern Cape to interview her while she's still living, to talk about her language, to promote the preservation of Khoi and San languages. Yeah, that's high up on the CIA. They must spend, I think, $1.6 billion a year doing that. Idiots. And Netha wants to wonder why her descendants haven't learned language. Well, her granddaughter's learning language, but her children were discouraged from it because they were treated like dunces and they were abused. And many of these people were spread out. Families were spread out looking for work in different ranches, in different places. They went, so there was no one around them speaking language, and it was shunned upon like it was a dummy language, like it was stupid. And when you treat people with such disregard, it's easy to destroy language. That is what the ANC is trying to do to Afrikaans language now. That is why they rip down monuments. I got a picture of someone, it was in East London somewhere, like they ripped down, or one of the towns in Eastern Cape where they ripped down Queen Victoria's statue over the weekend. That's missing. I haven't got a chance to do that story yet. What about Afrikaans? What do you mean, what about Afrikaans? The ANC is doing the same thing to Afrikaans now. That's right, CIA, Chris in action. Yep. That's why. That's what happened. This is what happens when people abuse other people. You destroy their language, you destroy their culture, you destroy their identity, and that's what happens first. And this is why it's ironic to see the ANC pushing the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, forcing people to learn in English, a settler colonial language. All right, good night, Silent Target. Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for the super chats. Really appreciate it. Yeah, no, I mean, we're just so busy, doing stuff like that, and that video, Fame, that little idiot, Shelley Hepburn's daughter or whoever she is claiming I do this for fame. Really? Did I get famous for interviewing that wonderful woman? It was an amazing experience. It was so fun. Rob McGimpsey was with me. Rob's Afrikaans is much better than mine, of course. He served in the Southern Defense Force, so he knows Afrikaans much better than I do, so he helped. But if you watch that video, you'll find out that I actually understood most of what she was telling me in Afrikaans. I didn't understand anything she told me new. But when she spoke Afrikaans, I understood most of it. In fact, you can see me a couple times responding English. This is what I will miss from South Africa. My father used to take us road trips when we were young and stop in small towns, listen to old farmer and people stories. Yep. The Bushman language will be the next wind talkers. That's why the CIA sent. Oh, so that's why the CIA sent me there, so we could acquire the knowledge like the Navajo and use these people in war. So what? At least you're doing something that you love and that you have a calling for. Exactly. Yeah, go fly a kite. Kan kite fleek. Yep. This is yeah. See. Okay. Charlie's Thrawn can give all the answers about Afrikaans. Yeah. Yes, Barbarian. I was interrogating Oma Katarina Esau. I was interrogating her. Dude, my goodness. Anyway. Grandfather spoke 6 European language, didn't teach his kids because they were in America, and English is our language. Sad take. But he was ridiculed for speaking anything else kid. Yeah, exactly. That's a shame. But there are communities who cherish and safeguard because they have a sufficient density of population in place to assimilate but safeguard their ethnic origins and their language and culture. The examples are the Amish and the Mennonites. They've guarded their faith. They've guarded their lifestyle, although the Mennonites are much more progressive than the Amish are. The Amish broke away from Mennonites because they thought they were too liberal. Liberal ordinal. So the Amish, many of them still speak German. It's 17th century German. It hasn't changed much since then, so I have to listen very carefully when I have a conversation with them. And then we also have the Cajuns, the Acadians. Many of them speak a French still, a French slang in Louisiana. And also many people in New England still speak French in the northern parts of New England, in Maine, and I believe even some, if our farmer friend is here from Vermont, she could attest that some people in Vermont still speak French. Yep. And then also, of course, the old Spanish families of the Southwest, of New Mexico, of Arizona, of parts of Texas and Southern California. They have protected, and they're not Mexicans as such, they're Spanish. Yep. Yeah, Amish are not Dutch. No, the Amish are German. The Amish are German, Fabian. The reason you got that impression is because of the bastardization of words. So let me give an example of 2 words that were bastardized by English. So the English were the colonists who controlled Pennsylvania under William Penn. It was a religious colony. Maryland was a religious colony, but for Catholics, Pennsylvania was for Protestants by and large. Although they tolerated Catholics, but not many Catholics came here. Most went to Maryland. Both were religious-based colonies initially. And what happened was in Maryland, the German families that settled there spoke German, almost no English. But they had to register births. So they would go once a year or a couple times a year to the county seat for whatever business they had to do. They would register births and deaths. They would tell the English official the name, and then the English official would write down what they heard because the Germans were not literate at that stage in English. So Vogel, V-O-G-E-L, with an umlaut over the O, which makes it, instead of an U, it becomes an Ö. So Vogel, which means bird. It's Bird. That was someone's last name was Bird, like Larry Bird, except in German. You know, like Hermann Vogel. The English heard Vogel. So they wrote down Vogel, and they created a new surname without anybody realizing it. They spell it F-O-G-L-E. So there are many people living in Frederick County, Maryland, whose last name is Vogel, but there's no etymology for Vogel. It's not English. It's not German. It's a bastardization, a corruption of the German. Now, in the case of the Amish, the English speakers here, when the Germans settled in Pennsylvania and they didn't speak English, they called them Dutch because they were Deutsch, D-E-U-T-S-C-H, Deutsch, German. The word for German in German is Deutsch, not German. They don't say German, they say Deutsch. So, ich bin Deutsch. Yeah. So the English speakers of Pennsylvania call them Pennsylvania Dutch. Because they're not Dutch. There's no Dutch at all. The Dutch settled in New Amsterdam, which became New York, and some settled in Delaware. The Dutch didn't settle in Pennsylvania, almost none. There she is, Faithful Farmer. Some people speak French here a little bit. I know 2 Quebecois French words, meme and pepe. Yep, exactly. But there's more people that speak it in parts of New Hampshire and especially in Maine up north. Yep. Indiana is mostly Protestant, but there are Catholics there as well. No, Fabian, the Amish are not Dutch, not even remotely. I'm Dutch. I'm more Dutch than they are. I'm more Dutch than many South Africans are. My ancestors came from the Netherlands as well. From Ameland, and also from what's the town? I'm drawing a blank right now. Anyway, in the South. My ancestors were Hanseatic traders, some of my ancestors, and they wound up settling in Sweden. That's why I can trace my family line all the way back to Sweden in about the year 534, because the Hanseatic traders went from Middelburg, that's what it was, Middelburg, which was a Hanseatic town at the end of the Rhine River, emptying into the North Sea, or into the English Channel. Middelburg, I had ancestors that were traders, Hanseatic traders. They went from there, one of the sons went up to Sweden, to Kalmar. Kalmar and the Kalmar Union were part of the Hanseatic League, the trading organization in the medieval period. He settled in Kalmar and then wound up marrying a girl from Öland. It's a long 60-kilometer island just off the coast of Kalmar in the Baltic Sea. So what happened is he met this girl, and she was from a town, Boda, in the far north. The records go back to about the year 5 something, based on research done by the Dutch family that I'm descended from. They paid a lot of money, millions of dollars, to do this research back in the 20s and 30s when they had the money to do this, and the books are available. Anyway, so I can trace my lines back to Sweden in those years. That's one side. Yep. Ancestors came from The Hague. English cannot say the word Deutsch, mistakenly said Dutch. Correct, Hendo. Gold bronze skin. Yes, that's why they aren't black. We grew up with a Bosman, as he called himself, pastor that served in South Africa. Maybe the respect he gave and received were amazing. Yeah, the Bushmen are amazing. It's a shame that they were hunted down like animals and there were bounties placed on their heads by the early settlers. Just terrible, terrible, the early history. But these people persevered despite smallpox, despite dysentery, despite all kinds of diseases, despite being hunted like dogs, despite being chased into the desert by the Bantu-speaking peoples when they came down from the Rift Valley. They survived, and they became a determined people who've survived the Khoi and San, and in many respects, many of them are mixed in the colored community. That's a big admixture of the colored community is from the Khoi and San communities, but also Malaysians and Europeans as well. Good night, Anna. Thank you, your daughter, for the song. I did never hear how old she was. How interesting. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Well, I'm happy to share that, Layla. So why would a CIA guy sit here on a Saturday after not having internet for basically 2 days and regale stories promoting Khoi and San people? Francois Sila says, what's your forecast in 5 years' time? Give us your honest opinion. It's not a good one. I've been reticent to share my thoughts about where South Africa is going, but it's not a good place. It's not a good place. Not a good place. And it's really sad to see. The Moravian Church. Yep, the Moravian missionaries were active in Namibia, in South Africa. In fact, I think a Moravian who was actually Swiss, but affiliated with Moravian Church, was the one that advised Quechua. Yep. It's clear you are well-traveled. Traveling and living abroad makes a world of difference. You cannot be racist if that's your journey, as you understand people. Well, I suppose you could be Bafokta, but you'd be untrue to yourself if you were. Oh, I love cultural anthropology, Boki. I love cultural anthropology. So that's why I know about the main settlement for Icelanders in America, because I learned that in cultural geography in 1982. And I also know about the Amish, so much about that because my cultural geographist, Professor Wilhelm, a German who settled in America, he was still teaching at Ohio University last time I checked, but that's been 20 years ago, so he might not be around anymore. He must have been in his 40s when he was teaching me, or maybe early 50s, and that was 40 years ago, so I don't know if he's still around. Don't share, Colonel. You'll just say it loud, what we all fear. Yeah, I'm not saying it, Corey. I'm holding off because, I mean, it's a fool's errand. I'm already being falsely accused of being anti-South Africa and anti-ANC. I'm not anti-ANC. I am anti-ANC corruption and anti-ANC lies. It doesn't mean I'm anti the ANC. I guess you could say I'm anti, but I mean, if they just were objective and honest and told the truth, I wouldn't have anything to say about them, would I? You know the European anthropology well. I think I should broaden my knowledge in this, focused on Southern African culture. Well, Boki, you want to talk about the settlement of Europe, and you want to talk about the Finnic Alto-Uric language family, Estonian, Finnish, Karelian. We can talk about that as well. You want to talk about the Sami people of northern Scandinavia who crossed the borders between Finland, Norway, and Sweden. You want to talk about the Celtic settlement of Europe and the remaining Celtic peoples in the Basque country, in Normandy, in Wales, in Ireland, in Scotland. Yeah, we could talk about that. The Cornish are pretty much wiped out, and the Manx are wiped out. They've been kind of absorbed completely. But yeah, you want to talk about the German tribes? We could talk about all that stuff. The Franks. You know that the French are actually German? Did you know that? The French are actually German? Yeah, because the Celts were settled there. And the Franks were a German tribe from what is now Eastern Europe. They were a Germanic tribe who crossed the Oder and the Rhine rivers. And the two places they crossed in large numbers over a period of decades became known as the crossing of the Franks. The German word for ford or crossing is Furt, F-U-R-T. And Frankfurt is the crossing of the Franks, where they crossed over the river. They first crossed over the Oder River in the east, and the Oder River was crossed. There's the Frankfurt an der Oder. That's the first Frankfurt. The Frankfurt we're most acquainted with is in the west, and that's the one where a lot of Americans were stationed. That's Frankfurt am Main. It's on the Main River, not the Rhine, Main River. So Frankfurt am Main, that's where the Franks crossed over. They crossed through Germany, the middle part of Germany, over to the west and settled in northern France and eventually worked their way down, became the dominant group there. French was originally not a Latin language. It was a Germanic language. Hence the reason why I studied French. I got confused a lot because I would hear things learning French at the Defense Language Institute, and I would understand it because the antecedent roots of the Latin language actually came from a Germanic language, because that's what French was originally. And some of it carries through. And so knowing German helped me learn French, even though it confused me a little bit. But French was a Germanic language. But then the Romans came and it became Latinized, and it changed considerably. So there you go. Foot, yeah, Afrikaans. Yeah, but that's a different meaning. In German, it's vorwärts, forward, vorwärts, with an umlaut over the A, vorwärts. And vor means before. V-O-R means before. In Rome, Total War, it teaches you how they traveled. Yeah, I've got that game. I have German friends that say Afrikaans is too guttural. Bulky, let's be honest, it is very guttural. I've told this story many, many times. I was at Soesterberg Air Base in the Netherlands in 1992 on holiday. I stayed at the military base, and the first thing that struck me when I drove in the gate in 1992 was the soldier on duty, or the airman at the base. He had shoulder-length hair and earrings, and he wore his helmet crooked with a chin strap not buttoned with a rifle slung over his shoulder. He looked at my ID card and waved me in. I'm like, that's a Dutch soldier? No wonder these cowards surrendered in Srebrenica. Bunch of wusses. So then I went to the officers club, and I got the lodging, which was inexpensive, but it was right next to the flight line. So it happened to be doing training flights, and F-16s were flying by and thundering by and shaking the room every 2 minutes as they went by. But meanwhile, I was going to get a shower. I turned the TV on. I sat down before I took my shower. I turned the water on and let it run for a couple minutes. And a news program was on. It was late afternoon. There was a Dutch broadcaster speaking in Dutch, and then this most gorgeous creature. She was like Sydney Sweeney hot. Sydney Sweeney hot. This Dutch broadcaster was Sydney Sweeney hot. There you go. That's how hot she was. And I'm like, this is the most beautiful creature I've ever seen in my entire life. But she hadn't said anything. She's just sitting there, and he's talking. She's looking and waiting. It's for her turn. He finishes talking, and then she starts giving the news. And she's like, and I'm like, make it stop. Make it stop. And of course, Afrikaans' origins is from Dutch and many other admixtures of languages that came into it. But yeah, sorry, I mean, no offense, but Afrikaans is a beautiful language, but man, it has some moments that are really, really guttural. People say that German, who speak other Germanic languages, is harsh. It is when you compare it to Danish. It is, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's right, great genes. Okay, Vorwärts as well. Yeah, there you go. Oh, Vorwärts, okay, yeah, so that's Dutch, yep. Yep. My family of Germanic origin. Of course, with Holzhausen, I should think so. Anyway. Asterix and Obelix. Asterix and Obelix are fantastic. I've got a bunch of the books. It helped me learn French. Asterix and Obelix. I never paid attention to Asterix and Obelix. I just dismissed it. I didn't know what it was until I started learning French, and then it was great. I started using it. Anyway, so the super chats all dried up. That happened a long time ago. See, if I was just doing this for money, I would have quit like an hour ago. Super chats haven't come in at least an hour. The last one was, there's one 15 minutes ago. Very interesting. I collect oral history said. Oh, I missed that snippets. Thank you for that. Sorry, I missed that. And then one before that was 39 minutes. Yep. Can I beg you to give some history at random? It changed from what I was taught in school from Blood River to what is today. Well, Jason, I did a video on that last year, and I just updated it with the entry. Let me do that. Blood River. Where's the Blood River? It would have been the 16th, so I go back a little further. There it is. No, that's not it. Here you go. What really happened at the Battle of Blood River? I just had this... I just updated this online. So, good day, folks, and welcome from Pennsylvania. This is Chris, and it is December 16th, 2025. For Afrikaners and Boers in South Africa, a day known as Geloftedag, the Day of the Vow. The day on the 16th December 1838 that a Boer commando under the leadership of Andries Pretorius had a meeting engagement with the Zulu, led by generals under Dingaan, and decisively defeated them at the Kombe River, now known as the Battle of Blood River. In a battle that saw virtually no loss of life from the Trek Boers, but thousands of Zulu died. So many Zulu died that day that the river turned red with blood, hence the name, the Battle of Blood River. Today, a commemorative site is in place to recognize the events. On one side of the river, it is an Afrikaner memorial, a Boer memorial, with bronze wagons, replicas of the ones that were there for the lager in 1838. On the opposite side, across a friendship bridge, is the Zulu Memorial. Folks can travel there, but I caution you, it's a long drive down a dusty road to get there. but it is well worth your time and effort. Last year in 2024, I recorded a period of my broadcast focused specifically on this event. And I'm going to bring back a little of the Wayback Machine here, and we're going to go back in time to last year, and you'll be able to listen to my description of the history of the Battle of Blood River.
I just finished developing the first stock trading tool of it.
See, I get ads too. It's Monday, December 16th, 2024. Geloftedag, the day of vow, the day of the covenant. In the modern sense, identified as Day of Reconciliation, a date which is losing its relevance to South Africans as days pass, as years pass in our rearview mirror. We're going to talk a little bit about today about the origins of the day, why it came about, what it's about, and the sense of historical loss for all South Africans, black, white, and brown, as we go forward. South Africans, black, white. I'm going to give you links. I know the sound's off. Don't tell me the sound's off. I had it off on purpose. I'm going to give you a link to that because people ask for it. But see, people don't know this content's out there because YouTube hides it. They hide my content. They don't tell you. So I don't know what happened to the sound there. That was weird. Let's go back to that screen. So with that in mind, let me just go ahead and begin my conversation. This will be supplemented with photographs from the site of the date that set this origin in place, the origin of this date. 16th December is a date etched in the history of South Africans. Geloftedag, the day of the vow, the covenant, Dingani's Day, Reconciliation Day. December 16th has long been etched in the collective memory of South Africans. As we travel further and further along and the sands of time slip through the hourglass, far too many South Africans of all races and creeds lose touch with their history and their heritage. December 16th becomes a day off from work, an occasion for a braai or relaxing, and less about what South Africa was, what it is, and what it will become. The agonizing loss of identity that comes with emigration has already dawned on those who departed South Africa over the past 3 decades. But the loss and sense of history, sadly, goes much deeper. Inside Africa, Mzansi, South Africans are losing touch of who they are, in large measure owing to the largely uncontested whitewashing of history by an increasingly black supremacy-oriented voting bloc of the ANC and the Progressive Alliance of MK, EFF, and even ATM, among others. Political parties not interested in peaceful coexistence, but rather in domination and retribution for perceived past injustices. The General Synod of the Afrikaners Natal Church has chose 16 December as an ecclesiastical day of thanksgiving by all its congregations in 1864. Later, in 1894, Dingani's Day was declared a public holiday by the government of the Orange Free State. Declared a public holiday in 1910 after the establishment of the Union of South Africa, the event that was marked was the Battle of Nkombe, or Blood River, as the Voortrekkers called it after their triumph. For the Boers, according to historian John Laband, previous guest on my program, their great God-given victory affirmed their right to rule over the heathen Zulu, just as God had delivered the Canaanites into the hands of the children of Israel. The Covenant and Blood River duly became cornerstones of Afrikaner nationalism. Although it was known officially either as the Day of the Vow or the Day of the Covenant, December 16th was popularly known as Dingani's Day, invoking the name of the second Zulu king, Dingani ka Senzekakona, against whom the Voortrekkers fought at Nkombe, or Blood River. The battle pitted the Zulu army under the joint command of Ndela ka Sampisi and Zobo ka Sabadli against the Voortrekker commando under the leadership of Andries Pretorius. Just a week before the decisive battle, Pretorius' party made a vow to God that should they win against the Zulu army, they and their descendants would observe the day of victory as a religious holiday and build a church in commemoration. Their wish was fulfilled when they defeated the Zulu army at Blood River on the 16th of December, 1838. On that day, an estimated 20,000 Zulu warriors led by Dingani's generals Dambuzo Nzobo and Ndela ka Sampisi attacked about 470 Voortrekkers at dawn. With the advantage of gunpowder, Zulu warriors were repelled with an estimated 3,000 to 10,000 warriors killed. The blood of the casualties flowed into the Nkombe River, turning its water red, earning it the nickname Blood River. Yep, so that's that video I did. Not the only one I did about it, but yeah, there you go. So there's that one. Yep. And let me see, there's one I did before, which is much shorter. Blood River, here you go, Battle of Blood River. This is from January of 2023 when I was actually at the site. I did this, not the anniversary, but the actual battle site. This is a short one here. Hello, folks. This is Chris in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa at the site of a momentous battle that took place here on the 16th of December, 1838. As the Four Trekkers, a group of the descendants of the original European settlers in the Western Cape, the Dutch, the French Huguenots, and the Germans who came later, along with some others, migrated up away from what was then the Cape Colony into the Orange Free State, over the Drakensberg Mountains, down here into KwaZulu-Natal, where they ran into conflict with the Zulu who happened to occupy this area. After a number of events that took place, which... so that's also on my channel. You can watch that one if you want. Let me get the link to that one real quick. That's from a couple years ago when I was actually at the site again. First time I've been there in quite a while. Oops, that's not what I want. Here we go. So we'll put that up here if you want to go open that link up and visit that. I appreciate, when you go back and visit old videos, it really does help. Sometimes they take off. I had a video that had like 1,800 views, and someone watched it like 3 years later, and they shared it on Twitter, and it got 100,000 views after the fact. It was pretty wild. Yeah, so there's that. And then there's also, someone mentioned John Labont. Yep, so John Labont. May of 2023, I interviewed John Labont on this channel, and I've tried to get him back to, because I have his books as well. The most authoritative subject matter history on the topic. Dr. John Labont, there he is. So, okay. Which I picked up on my trip to South Africa in January and all of February when I was there. And this book is The Boer... Oops, that's not going to come out very well. I've got this. I got to do it here because I got the green screen on. The Boer Invasion of Zulu Kingdom, 1837-1840. Now, you've written, published, edited, contributed to over 24 books throughout your long academic career. Where does this book stand from a personal perspective? Is it one of your favorites or one of the most difficult you worked on? Can you tell us a little bit about the book from that perspective?
Yeah. It's one I wanted to do for a long time, in fact, because at one stage in my life, once apartheid fell, I was invited to be part of a committee that was looking, in fact, at the whole problems of monuments and their place in a new South Africa. And
so Dr. Labont is arguably a very objective historian who doesn't promote Trek Boers. He doesn't promote the Zulu. He just promotes the truth in his analysis of history. So again, why would the CIA waste their time on that? These people are just dumb. Anyway, that's a little bit about those things. All right, cool. Okay. Our Dominique read it in Dutch when we sang the old South anthem. Wrote it. The words are beautiful. No shame in that song. No, I agree with you. G at the end of a word in German is usually pronounced with a soft praktisch. Yeah, when you have the G. Yep. Anyway, so I'll go look for the book. Yeah, the book's fantastic. It's really good. It's here on my shelf somewhere. Take my word for it. It's there. Just can't find it right now. Oh, there it is. There it is. There you go. John Labont. There you go. The Boer Invasion of the Zulu Kingdom, 1837-1840. And I have a habit of highlighting things that I find interesting in books. So you'll see that lots of highlights in this book. So, yeah. Fantastic work. I guess CIA agents spend a lot of time, buying books out of their own pocket, carrying them across the world to put on their bookshelf and read. Anyway, oh my goodness. Anton Mulder, what's going on, man? Long time no see. Not really. All right, so the 50 memberships still up their silent target. So we got some, thank you all. There's some nice super chats came in this stream, some big ones and some small ones, all of which help. Thank you all for that. So we on this stream actually have 1,751 views, which is more than I got on Christmas Day last year when my audience was just 18, 19,000 people. So reparational law to pay each black resident $5 million. That's not going to pass Supreme Court review. That will be taken up on appeal because it doesn't provide equal protection. First off, California was never a slave state. People were never enslaved in California by anyone. Well, Mexicans enslaved Indians, but that's long before that. No, that's ridiculous. You can't make people pay reparations for something that never happened. These are evil people who hate America and hate white people, and they're white people. So, no, I didn't see that pass, but I'll make a video on that, and we'll talk about it. I want reparations. Maybe that's why the comment about Trump wanting white people wanting reparations. Mostly at Free State boards. Dogzilla is back. There he is. You're in early this evening, Dogzilla. It's only 2:57 on your side of the continent. Peter myself, I sent you an email, quite urgent. Oh, okay, Hannes. Okay, it's okay repeating yourself, but I mean, I got so many emails, and I've had not internet for 2 days. So I mean, if you sent an email last 2 days, the odds are I didn't see it. Okay, so that I gotta keep this one open because that's from someone that I was trying to address their concerns. Let me see if I can find Hannes. There it is. You just sent it while I was on. Okay. Okay, that doesn't tell me anything. Now I've got to go find your other message. Why couldn't you just forward the previous message you sent? You guys make this too hard, you know? Okay. Again, you asked me to... There's nothing there. Okay, October you sent me something. Okay, Hannes, you're not telling me anything. You told me something in October about someone else. You were offering... Okay, I'm lost. I have 3 messages from you. October 25th, December 17th, and December today, 20th. December 17th, December 20th say the exact same thing. You're just asking for advice. But there's nothing here that says urgent. And the previous message you sent me is from October 25th talking about another person whom we were trying to help. I'm very lost. Please send me another email and tell me what we're talking about here because there's nothing there. Okay, somebody met me in Zerast, one of the farmers. Okay. I'm sorry, Hannes, I'm looking, but there's nothing here that I can go off. You're going to have to send me another message, okay? Please do so. All right. They didn't put any money in a fund for reparations. It's a carrot to get people to vote for them. Exactly. They have no intention of paying out. You're right, Light Rain. It's just racist dribble-drabble. Someone hoist the old flag, parade at soldiers on the border every morning at school. Yes, in the end, shows the difference between a person and people. Yes, it does. All right, 1440's out of here. I think we're all going to be out of here 2 hours. I'll be back in 4 hours for Night Owls, okay? All right, I'll be back. And meanwhile, I'll look for later on a message from Hannes, who will hopefully be explaining to me what he needs help with. Okay? Thank you all for the super chats and for your indulgence and your time. It's good to be back. Apparently my internet's at least fixed well enough that it's not interrupting. And I would very much apologize to my rugby enthusiasts whom I wasn't able to do, and I couldn't celebrate my joy of winning a Stormers game and my disappointment in the Bulls folding up their tent. But I know that Fonz, thank you for trying to keep the chat going on my stream while you were watching. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. And others. Colonel, just caught up with your recent videos. Conversation with Josh was great. Thank you for your CIA hours. I have to buy you a König Ludwig Weissbier one day. Well, Bergmeister, speaking of another German name, that's a very German name. Thank you so much for that, even if it's a pseudonym. And you're very welcome, guys. And we'll catch, hey, Rohan, thank you for being here. And we'll see you guys a little bit later on for Night Owls. I'm going to set up now before I leave, so don't forget. And it's always a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe some news will break between now and then. Who knows? It was Friday. We didn't hear anything from Trump about South Africa, which I think might have surprised a few people. But again, the United States is taking a very measured approach to South Africa. And the South Africans keep throwing grenades in the room. Eventually, that grenade, it's going to roll back out of the room and blow up in their face. Just saying. Cheers, everybody. God bless.